Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool story.
So cute. Are you a sleepy baby? I see how you smiling. Sleepy. Oh. Oh. Chewing on your hand. Hi. Freya. Okay, so number one is the right way to parent. With this one, my mindset has shifted because I always thought that like my way, obviously everyone thinks that their way is better, but then like my sister had a baby, and it was a while ago when I was pregnant with Theo and I was babysitting my nephew, and just like the things she was saying to me, I was like, oh, I could probably like, I'll just do it the way that I did it with Theo and it'll work, because that's the way that I parented Theo. That was totally not accurate because I would try and it wouldn't work because my nephew's a different kid than Theo is. And same thing with raising these twins. It's like I have to do things different a little bit, tweak them, because the twins are different than Theo, or Griffin is different than Freya. There's no like right way to parent. You just have to know who your kid is, what kind of resonates with them, and then kind of like adapt to that on how you parent. You know your child best, and no one else does. So people can give you advice, people can say, you should try this, you should try this. In the end, you know your child best, you know what they need. You can take advice, but also just know that you are their parent and you know them on a daily basis and you know what will work and what won't work. You can like read as many books as you want that are like parenting books. You can watch as many seminars as you want, but in the end, it's just every kid is different and you know your kid best. Yeah. Also, every parent screws up. That has to do with like the right way to parent. There's no right way of parenting. It's kind of trial and error, and you will screw up, guaranteed you will screw up. You learn from it and you grow from it, and you hopefully adapt to it and change your ways and figure out a better way of doing it depending on your kid and how they react. Also, I find with the right way to parent, you just have to try to like not control them. Because when you parent, a lot of people think that you're like controlling your kid, but you're not. You're trying to teach them, and there is no right way of teaching. You know, there's multiple ways that you can teach somebody something. It's just what resonates with them. That changed when I had Theo because I always thought like my kid wouldn't do this, my kid's not gonna do this, but it's like they're their own person. Like they do their own thing. Okay, number 2 is the ideal time to have kids. So I always wanted to have kids like right away at a young age, which I kind of did. I had Theo at like 24. I had the twins at 25. Sometimes I feel like I missed out on like the fun 20s, but then again, I think about it and I'm like, I was never really that type to like go and party and like do all those things that 20-year-olds do. And I met Shane at a really young age. We got married in 2020. I wanted to be married, and I also wanted to have kids after like 2 years after being married because I wanted to like spend time with Shane when we're married, like just being us two, and that didn't happen. But I just don't think that there's like an ideal time to have kids. Everybody waits for like their finances to be in order, or like their career to take off, or buy a house, or to get married, or to do whatever. But I just feel like if you keep waiting for things to line up, they're never gonna line up the way that you want them, and you're gonna miss out on having kids. Also, it's actually like a known fact that kids make you grow up. So having someone rely on you and depend on you for a roof over their head and for food and just basically to live helps you kind of get your crap together and figure out your finances and figure out your career. And you have a lot more pressure, so you have to get it done. So statistically, people grow up a lot sooner when they have a kid. which is even proven. You have a kid in your teenage years, you grow up a lot faster than somebody who had a kid when they're like 25. You're probably at the same level, because you needed to get stuff together for your kid. Whereas in your 20s, you're just kind of hanging out and doing you, which is great. It definitely makes you grow up a lot faster. Also, I find that when you have kids, you become a better person because you want to do better with your kids. You want to be a good example. So you become less petty. You don't have time for toxic relationships, so you just kind of throw them out the window. And you don't have time for drama, so you don't really hang out with people that have drama. You really stick to people that are like-minded and stuff. Try to build that healthy environment for your kids. And so I feel you become a better person just by having a kid because you want to be better for them. A lot of people don't really care about being better for themselves, which is really sad. We should really be better for ourselves because that is self-love. There's no ideal time, but I do think that you should start sooner because for that reason of you want to be the best person you can be as soon as possible. Also, a lot of people are having kids older because they want to enjoy their 20s. A lot of older parents have had that time to kind of grow up and get their careers together, so there's that too. But I just feel it's a personal choice, and if you're feeling you're waiting for something, I wouldn't wait because there's always going to be something to wait for, and you can always do those things later on. It's a personal choice on do you want to spend your 20s doing what you want to do alone, or do you want to spend your mid 40s, 50s doing your own thing? Because if you have kids early, then you obviously they get out of the house early and you can travel and do your own thing when you're older. Or do you want to travel and do your own thing when you're younger? My mindset has shifted on this because I understand more of why people want to do that more. My mindset has shifted on my kids won't act that way. So when you go to someone's house when you don't have kids and they have kids and their kids are acting out or having a tantrum or making a mess or doing something they're not supposed to, and you literally think in your mind, my kid won't do that or my kid won't act that way, there is some truth to that because you're going to raise them. However, they're still going to act out. They're trying to figure out who they are, what they can do around mommy, what they can do around daddy, what they can get away with, what they can't get away with. They're learning and growing, and tantrums are literally a part of the learning process because they can't communicate what they're feeling. That has changed my mindset on the fact that it was almost a judgment on my kid won't act that way to that will happen and I will be there for them, or accepting. So when people come over with their kids and they're acting out, my mind doesn't go, my kid won't act like that. It'll be how will I react when my kid acts like that? Or if my kid reacts like that, how would I parent now? Not my kid won't do that, because they will. They most likely will have a tantrum and they most likely will scream for no reason and freak out for no reason. We think it's no reason, but they think there's a reason. It's hard when, especially toddlers who are just learning how to talk, they don't know how to communicate to me what their problem. Okay, so the next one is mindset has changed on will always be a good parent. What I mean by this, obviously I'm not just gonna have moments of I'm a horrible parent, I'm abusing my kid and all that kind of stuff. No, but what I mean is I will have bad mom moments where I forget to buckle their car seat up. So disclaimer, I'm not saying I did these things, but I have talked to multiple women about bad mom moments. So don't come at me for these because some of these, maybe I did, maybe I didn't do them. Whatever. No judgment. Just react. Anyways, but leaving their seatbelt unbuckled and then you get home and you realize it and you're oh my God, because it just whatever. Or putting your kid in the vehicle, you forget to put the stroller back in your car and you leave the stroller there. Bad mom moment. Or you are in pain, let's say you have a headache, you're tired, and your toddler's poking you, mom, 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 and you yell and you raise your voice when they just want your attention. You forget to buckle their booster high chair seat eating dinner and they fall out of the chair or something. I don't know. You leave them in the bath and they fall and they get water in their face or something. All of these things are accidental. So hard because You literally turn your back for 2 seconds and they're gone. You don't pay attention to them and they stick something in the socket. That did not happen to my kid. I did that when I was a kid. So just so you know, I did that. I was behind the couch and my mom's like, where's Courtney? Theo's done this. Super doesn't harm him at all, but it's still something. Is unattended, goes into the bathroom, sticks his hand in the toilet. Like bad mom moment, I'm not paying attention. Or he grabs the soap and is eating soap. They just get into things that they're not supposed to get into because you're not paying attention. That would be classified as like a bad mom moment. We all have those moments. They accidentally eat a battery. They fall down the stairs because you're not paying attention. Like, it will happen. You will have bad mom moments. You will not always be a perfect parent. You will make mistakes. That is something that my mindset has changed over, because my mind when I was pregnant with Theo was like, I'm always gonna pay attention and I have these moments. But you will have these moments and that's okay. Don't like beat yourself up too much about it, because you're tired, you're exhausted, dealing with a lot of things, and things bound to happen. You can't think of all these possibilities of what's going to happen in every situation. So also, my mindset has changed on always wanting to be a mom. I have always been very maternal, literally, like I didn't really want a career in life. I wanted to be a mom. I am like super blessed, super grateful, all of that stuff. I love my kids. I love being a mom to them, but sometimes I don't want to be a mom and all of that entails. So like keeping up with the house, always needing to think about others. Sometimes I just want to think about myself and think about what I need. Sometimes I just like want a day off and I can't have a day off. Sometimes I just feel like what I do if I wasn't a mom? And the good thing about that is that I appreciate what I have, because in my mind, if I wasn't a mom, my life wouldn't be as good. That's a good thing that comes to my mind. And I also think that that's okay, but that definitely is something that my mindset has changed. I would always enjoy it and it would always be this like euphoric time. And I don't know if you guys have watched my update videos or my previous videos, but I do talk about how like when I had Theo, I enjoyed being a mom. I loved it. It was like the best thing ever. And I didn't really have many days where I was like, man, I don't want to be a mom. And when my friends would say that, I'd be like, how could you say that? I love being a mom. After having the twins, I totally understand that. Now it's like 3 times the effort and it's just so much work and so much other things going on. It's just like very overwhelming. Sometimes I don't want to be a mom and I love my kids, but being a mom is more than just taking care of kids. It's like taking care of everything, everybody. Animals, the house, your husband, like just everything. So that definitely has shifted my mindset on that. This one's big, okay? That I can do it on my own. And if I don't do it on my own, I'm a bad mom. This is a major one that my mindset has shifted on, from having no kids to having 3. Don't feel like if you need help and you need to ask for help, you're a bad mom. That is not a thing. Being a mom is hard. Being a parent is hard. Even to like one baby, even if it's just somebody to watch your kid while you take a bath, you need that time, and that's okay to ask for that. So that's my biggest shift. Being a new mom, you always think like you'd be a bad mom to ask for help and you should be able to do it by yourself. All these other moms do it by themselves. You look at like Instagram moms, they're not showing you real life. In real life, you need help sometimes. That's okay. So another thing that my mindset has shifted on, and I think this is because I have more than one kid. When you have one kid, you like want to give them everything that's like perfect. Them nothing that has chemicals in it. All their lotions are like free of all these things. Do like literally coconut oil and that's it. You don't want to give them any medication or any like steroid cream. You don't want to like rely on like gripe water, like use anything like that. You want to breastfeed. You want to feed them like the best diet. You look at like baby-led weaning over purees, and you worry about like their nutrition and they're hitting their like, certain things that they, you know, like their target for their age or whatever. You worry about like, oh, diapers are bad and you should cloth diaper and all these things. All these things you worry about. And honestly, after the first kid, my mindset shifted so much. I do not care anymore. I enjoy cloth diapering because one, it's cheaper. It's so much work with twins. Theo's still in cloth diapers. So that's 3 babies in cloth diapers. No, thank you. I go based on what is easier now. So that has shifted. Also with like purees and baby diet and stuff, I'm not gonna really worry about it too much with the twins. Like I'm gonna do the same thing that I did with Theo, but I'm not gonna like really like worry about like fancy recipes and stuff. I'm just gonna do basic stuff. I don't know if that's because you've done it once or if you realize that they're not gonna die. They're gonna survive if they don't do baby-led weaning. If they drink from a certain sippy cup, they're still gonna talk the same. They're still gonna learn to walk if they haven't walked at 10 months like Theo. The twins don't start walking until they're like, I don't know, let's just say 13 months or something. Like, they're still learning how to walk. It doesn't matter when they learn to walk. Whereas when you're like a first-time mom, you really focus on those things. That shifts. And I also find that's very similar to when you're pregnant with your first to pregnant with your second. You like dwell on all of the stages and everything that's going on with your body a lot more than if like you're pregnant with your second one. You're like, I've already done this. Nah, it doesn't matter. That's definitely a mind shift. Is like when people talk to me about all this stuff, I'm like, yeah, you're good. Like, your baby will survive. It's all good. If there's like a little bit of scent in your baby's lotion, they're fine. If they get a little bit of eczema, they're fine to have a little bit of cortisone cream. Like, they won't die. Calm down. You know? Like when you have like your first, you're just like, I feel like you're so hard on yourself. Be perfect. And it's fine. They're fine. Don't stress about it. I thought that I would love the baby stage forever. I loved when Theo was a baby. Not loving it now. I like the stage that they're getting into because they're getting into a stage where I can put them on a blanket on the floor and they can just kind of like wiggle and play. I can go and do stuff. But before, when I had to hold them constantly in order to get stuff done, it's just like exhausting. Or like when I can't get anything done because I'm constantly feeding them. Like at least now they have like a window of like playtime where I can get stuff done. But I thought that I would love it for longer because Theo, this might be because, Theo is a bigger baby. He was 8 pounds, 10 ounces. So by the time he was born, he was already pretty big. And I didn't really have much of like that baby time. He started rolling over very quickly, lifting his head very quickly, like crawling very quickly. Like he was very, very advanced. And so I didn't get much of like that quality baby time. So I was like, oh, my second baby, I'll love it. But then the thing is I had twins. So now I don't really have time to enjoy the baby time, but also it's almost like an overload. And the twins were born early and they were like 5 pounds each. They lasted in that baby stage, it felt like a lot longer than Theo did because Theo was 8 pounds. I definitely am glad that that newborn stage is over and we can move on from there because I thought I would love it, but my mind definitely changed. I love Theo's stage. I love the toddler stage. That is my favorite stage so far. Okay, last one is my mindset changed on breastfeeding in public or like in my house with like guests. So I used to use covers with Theo whenever people were over at our house, and I used to like leave the room or just like try to space it out so I wouldn't need to feed him at the time that my friends would be there. But now I just like whip out my boob. Sometimes I ask, especially if they're a man, then that might be sexist, but men are less comfortable than women, and all my friends are really comfortable, so whatever. But when there's a guy, I say, are you okay with me breastfeeding? And I still kind of shield a little bit. I turn my back, whatever, because I want to be respectful and I want them to feel comfortable. But also, I'm feeding my baby, and that is a normal thing, and it's not a sexual thing, and I just don't care anymore. I'll just whip out my boob and I don't care. My boob is now my milk machine, it's not my boob. Also, if my friend had a baby, I would like totally welcome that. I'd be like, yeah, you can breastfeed in front of me, whatever. Even ask me questions, or like if you need help, like I'll help you. Like I'm a very open person. Before it would be like kind of like this, like, oh, like you're gonna do that? And like, oh, okay, you know, but now I'm just like welcoming it, like mama's helping mamas kind of thing. I really enjoyed this change of mindset because you don't have time to care about like whether people are comfortable about it, like with it or not. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Please show this video to anybody who you think might help, and subscribe to my channel, and tune in next week for another video. Thank you so much. Bye. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.